Hi guys, this is Patricia. Welcome back to In His Image. Today we're going to do a study in the book of Matthew. I had actually gone through this study a while back for my blog over Christmas, but I never really got a chance to get around to actually getting on YouTube. So this was my chance to get it on YouTube. I wanted to get this thing started back up and running. So the title of this study will be Wise Men Will Seek Him. This was actually inspired by a song that I was listening to on the radio a while back, and it said, "Wise men will seek Him and find in Him peace." And funny enough, it was over Christmas that I had heard it. But we will be in Matthew chapter 2, and we'll be talking about what a wise man is. What in our day, what would a wise man be? What would we consider to be a wise man? Most people would think of a wise man to be having very smart answers to problems, somebody you can turn to, all these great things. But if God is not in that wisdom, then it's really not good for us. We need to have God's role in our life as well. We need to have God's wisdom. But anyways, we'll be in Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. I am using the King James Version. If you have another version, that's great, but doing Bible studies and reading and going to church, King James is my go-to. I have other study Bibles with different versions, but King James is what I need to be sticking to at the moment. And we'll be looking at the first two verses, actually. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? We have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. A wise man, in my notes, I'll be reading from my notes. So basically, a wise man determines himself to seek Christ. They were seeking him. They saw the star, and they were wondering, okay, where is the star leading to? Here, let's go ask around. When we have a question, that will basically the wise man will ask questions if need be. If we have questions concerning seeking the face of God, who do we go to? We go to God. And I have other references here, so bear with me. In Matthew chapter 7, concerning that, Matthew chapter 7, verses 7 and 8. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. And the wise man determined himself to find Christ, and at the end, at the end, they actually found him. They worked hard at finding him, and so they got their reward. They found Christ. They sought his face, and they finally found him. And that's what we need to do. We need to constantly seek his face every day. We need to follow the star by Bible study and praying and going to church, hanging around Christian people, and getting involved in ministry and just witnessing to people. I mean, that's how you seek his face. Verses 3 through 8. No. Hurry up reading through these. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah. For out of thee shall come a governor, that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. And we'll go to Proverbs 13:20. While I'm getting there, you've got to really be careful about the company you keep. Some people are underhanded, they'll backstab you at any moment, so you've got to be careful who you trust. And thankfully, the wise men had an angel to come warn them about what Herod was going to do. But anyways, Proverbs 13:20. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise. And I lost my place. He that walketh with wise men shall be wise, but a companion of fools shall be destroyed. And funny enough, what happened to Herod after the slaying of the innocent children? He was destroyed. He died. That was no coincidence. I do not believe he would have died of natural causes or food poisoning, whatever. I believe that God had a say, had a hand in his death. He tried to come after his only begotten son, and so what did he do? He destroyed Herod. So you've got to be careful about the company you keep, because like I said, people can backstab you. Herod had a different plan. Herod had a hidden agenda. How many times do we see people, even our own so-called friends, they have a hidden agenda? They only like us when they want something. Look at Herod. He only liked those wise men because he wanted the supposed earthly throne that Jesus came to get. But Jesus didn't have an earthly throne. Jesus came to set up his kingdom, his heavenly kingdom. But that's a different story. Now we're going to move on to verses 9 through 11. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, which were they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And what we see from verses 9 through 11, a wise man will worship the true king. In Psalms 95, Psalms, yeah, Psalms 95, verse 6. And it says, "O come, let us worship and bow down, and let us kneel before the Lord our Maker." And I imagine that is exactly what the wise man did. Well, it said they fell down and they worshipped him, so they must have knelt. They would have gotten down, really humbled themselves, because they were in the presence of the Son of God, God in fleshly form. And a wise man will worship the true king. How are we supposed to worship him? In spirit and in truth. And in verse 10, it said, when they saw the star, they rejoiced. They rejoiced because they found the king, and they were joyful when they came in to worship him. the old Christmas song, "Joy to the world, the Lord has come, let earth receive her King." We are supposed to be joyful when we come before Him. And in verse 11 it says, they presented unto Him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. What do we have to give Him? Do we give Him our time, our tithes, when we have the money? And sometimes He asks us to give even when we don't think we can afford it. I mean, you can't afford to not give your finances. But if you honestly can't, that's where your time comes in, your talent, your ministry. If you're a pastor, you give the message that God gives you to bring forth to His people, to break the bread of life to them. If you're a singer, belt it out for the Lord, whether it sounds good or not. But yeah, wise men will worship the true King no matter what. They were joyful, they gave Him all they had, and they even went overboard. I mean, how many kings these days would give all their gold, frankincense, and myrrh to a special baby? I can't really think of very many. I mean, I can barely give $1 to my tithing without holding a grudge. I mean, but anyways, that's a different story. Verse 12, this is the last verse. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. A wise man listens to godly counsel. Proverbs, let's go back to Proverbs chapter 1, and verse 5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. And these were definitely wise men to have heeded the angel's voice. Other Gospels say that it was an angel, but Matthew says that they were warned of God in a dream. So they were wise to listen to God's voice, to heed the voice of the angel. And they said, hey, we better go, because this guy's after us. So they were spared. Jesus was spared, ultimately sacrificing His life on the cross for us, to spare our lives. But, as I said before, are we willing to give our own lives? Are we willing to worship joyfully? Are we willing to determine ourselves to seek Christ, to do all these things that were mentioned in this study? Are we being considered wise men? Or are we considered foolish in the eyes of God? No amount of deeds or words or anything, no amount of that we can do will send us to heaven. God considers all that dirty rags. As long as we have accepted Christ and trusting in His wisdom to make us wise, then that's all that matters. So I hope you guys enjoyed that study. I know I rambled on a little bit in the middle of that, but I do apologize. For whatever reason, I'm not with it today, so hopefully the next time I'm on, I will be with it and will be ready to rumble. So I guess I will see you guys later. Prayer requests, suggestions, ideas, comment in the box, comments below, or inbox me, or whatever. So I will see you guys later. Bye.